Welcome back. This is part 2 of our chapter 4 review. Last we left off was with this chubby little cute kitty. Reminds me of a meatball. I don't know. So let's get back into our lesson. Alright, so what we need to do is now we're going from equations to graph. I have my equation y equals 1/2 x minus 3. In order to turn this into a graph, we need to find the y-intercept and the slope. So remember back when we did our y equals blank x plus blank? Well, we can identify each part. When we're graphing, we want to start with the y-intercept. The y-intercept is always the number that we're adding or subtracting to the x. So if our y-intercept is -3, I'm going to go start in the center, down here at 0, 0, and go down 1, 2, 3 to fit it on our y-axis. Again, this is the y, this is the x. So I put my point on -3. That's where we start. After that, we look to the number that we're multiplying by the x, which again is the slope, and that is expressed as a measure of rise over run. Meaning, because the 1 is in the numerator, we're going to go up 1, and the 2 is in the denominator, we're going to go to the side 2. So from this point that we have right here, we're going to go up 1 over 2, and repeat, and that will make a line. So here's my point, up 1 over 2, and repeat up 1 over 2. And if we connect those points, it makes our line. Y is equal to 1/2 x minus 3. Now we're going to do the reverse. We have a graph, and we need to come up with an equation for it. So the easiest way to do that, start with y equals blank x plus blank. Of course, this blank is the slope, like we just said, and this blank is the y-intercept. So let's start with the y-intercept, because that's pretty easy to find. I'm going to follow my line, so following along here till we cross this y-axis. And I see that we cross right there at 3. So I'm just going to add a 3 to my y-intercept. It's that easy. Okay, now I want to go from this y-intercept to the next point that I see, which would be right here. And I know it's not perfect. It's supposed to be right there. So if I were to do that, in order to get there, I have to go down. When a line goes down from left to right, it has a negative slope. So I'm going to put a negative sign there. How much is it going down? Well, looks like it's going down 1, 2, 3, and over 1. So that means our slope is -3 over 1, which of course you know you don't have to write that fraction. So our slope is just y equals -3x plus 3. That's our equation of our line. So, time to do a learning check. This is such a stupid picture. Why would anyone put a cat next to loaves of bread? I don't know. And the cat really does look like it's saying they suspect nothing. Anyways, you can see the theme of this is weird cat pictures. Now it's time to do a learning check. Go back and look. You need to be able to graph from an equation and take a graph and turn it into an equation. Two different skills. And both of them involve understanding the idea of slope and y-intercept. Go back and look. Alright, now it's your turn. I want you to try this one. Here's a pattern, and you need to write an equation for this pattern. I will give you a hint. The equation is y equals blank x plus blank. So fill in those blanks, hit pause, and I'll be back in a second. I know you're not hitting pause. Lauren, you're not hitting pause. Eddie, Era, all my EL students, I know you're not hitting pause. Alright, did you hit pause this time? Oh, and I guess today is Carmel's birthday, so I'll give Carmel a shout out in the video. Happy birthday, Carmel. Now it's time to find a pattern. So what's the common difference here? what are we doing each time? Well, looks like 11 to 7, we are subtracting 4, and that pattern continues. So that is our slope. To come up with the y-intercept, again, we just go back 1. If this is our first number in our series, as if we made this into a chart, what would be our 0 number? The number before 11 would have to be the opposite. So instead of subtracting 4, we're going to add 4, get an equation of y equals negative 4x plus 15. Did you get that right? Good. I knew everyone would get it right. My students are so good. All right, now it's your turn to do a different skill. We have an equation there, and I want you to make a graph of it. Okay? Answer these questions. What's the y-intercept and what's the slope? That might help. All right? I will let you guys try this, so give it a try. Go. Hit pause, because I'm going to keep going. Hit pause. I really hope you hit pause, because now the answer is up there. And this is what you're supposed to do. Y equals negative 2x plus 5. To answer these questions, the y-intercept is 5. The slope is negative 2. So what I did was I started right here at 5, right there, and then used the slope, negative 2. Negative means we go down, so I'm going down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. That's how we got that answer. All right, last one. It's your turn. What's the y-intercept? What's the slope? Here's a hint. To write an equation for this graph, you fill in these two blanks with the slope and the y-intercept. So I want you to hit pause, figure it out, and then I'll go over the answer. So do it. Hit pause. This is for all the people who are not in my EL. You didn't hit pause this time, but do it. Hit pause this time. So here's the answer that you should get. Y equals 3 over 2x minus 3, or plus negative 3. The way I got that was, you start by figuring out the y-intercept, and it looks like it crosses here at negative 3. If you put negative 3.5, that's okay, because it's not exact. I meant for it to be at negative 3. It's hard to get a perfect line. But if it's at negative 3, or something like that, that's a good y-intercept. Then what we figure out is how much it goes up. And I can see that my line is going to go up 1, 2, 3. And it's going to go over 1, 2 to get to the next point that I can really figure out what it is. So my slope is a positive 3 over 2. And as you can see, it continues in that pattern. Okay, so there's your final equation. That's all. Look at this cat. This cat, I just want to say, why so serious? Who would do something like that to their cat? So here's our last slide. I promise. In this slide, you can see lots of cats that didn't make the other learning check cuts, but all very funny. Leave me alone. I don't want to taco about it. And he's dressed as a taco. And then, of course, we have monorail cat. It's so fat it's hanging off the edge. Then, of course, this cat that you can tell is eating human food and busted, but regrets nothing. Okay, so now's the time. Write your summaries. Summarize those notes. And if you want, include weird cat pictures in your note. I will check those tomorrow. Goodbye.